Commercial bank customers are not the only victims of the automatic teller machine scam that has rocked Barbados. CBC has learned that at least one credit union customer has also had funds withdrawn from her account over the weekend. She says it all began when she checked her Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited account online.
I immediately called my banker, which is the credit union, and they immediately checked and noticed, yes, withdrawals were made. The withdrawals were not made at the credit union. They were done at another banking institution. From there, we did follow up, and I did what they requested me to do, which was prepare a letter, have it sent to their office, and fill a discrepancy form. So I now await information from them to see what happens from here.
It appears that commercial bank customers are the ones who felt the brunt of the scam. President of the Barbados Association of Bankers, Horace Cobham, says any customer who sees unusual activity on their account should consult with their bank.
Value the relationship with our clients. So if our client, any client makes a claim on us indicating that there's a transaction or transactions across their account that they're not familiar with, our obligation to that client is to investigate it. And it starts with asking the client to provide us with the information so that we can begin that investigation. That information is basically to dispute the particular transaction or transactions. And then we will investigate it from there. We have different methodologies that we would use to investigate the veracity. But clearly, our initial orientation would be to accept that as a legitimate claim and treat it in that way.
One of Barbados' largest credit unions, the City of Bridgetown Credit Union, says a check of its systems has so far not revealed any breaches as a result of the ATM scam. However, Chief Executive Officer Steve Bell says they will continue to review their system to ensure that it has not been compromised. He was speaking during the official press launch of the credit union's 30th anniversary celebrations, which get underway on October 12th.
We have a very effective risk management strategy in place to actually identify skimming where it happens. As you would appreciate, with the best risk management strategy, technology is such that people come up with different ways. We've actually reviewed our system this weekend, and we've not seen any untoward activity would indicate that they have been skimming. However, as you would appreciate, the situation is that as statements go out to a member, there may be a situation where a member may identify something that has happened that we did not pick up at this point in time. So for all intents and purposes, and for all based on what we've actually put in place, we can say we are fairly confident that we've not been affected by skimming, but we wouldn't say that we are 100% certain.
Meanwhile, 2 Bulgarian men of Caucasian descent remain in police custody this evening, being questioned in connection with the scam. The automatic teller machines scam reportedly saw $500,000 stolen from ATMs across the island. The men were reportedly arrested at the Grantley Adams International Airport over the weekend as they attempted to board a flight to leave the island. Reports are that a third man who was involved may have escaped by leaving on an earlier flight. Investigations are ongoing. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair says a typographical error related to the Consolidation Tax and certain levels of income was discovered after the budget was presented. Speaking during an interview with the Government Information Service, Mr. Sinclair said the matter is being corrected under the direction of the Commissioner of Inland Revenue. He stressed that government has 3 months to institute legislation to govern the tax.
There was a typographical error in relation to the consolidation tax on the 2 upper bands where we would apply where we had said 2.5 and 3.5, which in fact should have been 3 and 2. So therefore, we had the competent tax authorities address that issue.
Mr. Sinclair said there was no mistake with the figure for the municipal solid waste tax, which is expected to come on stream by the middle of next year.
What we did, however, is to ensure that when we communicate, and don't communicate with the public, don't forget that this tax is not applicable until next year, perhaps starting in June or thereafter. So it's not to the next financial year. What we alerted the country is that there is going to be a solid waste tax. that is going to be levied on certain types of properties, and it is going to be at certain ranges.
The Ministry of Health has not yet made any recommendations to Cabinet on how it can make up the $35 million shortfall in financing, and it is still in discussion with its various departments on the best way to cut expenditure and find ways of saving money. This from Health Minister John Boyce during a wide-ranging news conference at the ministry's Culloden Road headquarters. The $35 million cut, to be stretched over an 18-month period, was identified by the Finance Ministry as part of overall measures to reduce government expenditure. Mr. Boyce says the ministry has started to look internally at where costs can be reduced.
Nothing has been sent to Cabinet up to this time for their consideration or approval. So the point is, although we are in the process of examining where these savings can be best found, the point is that we've not made a firm recommendation to Cabinet as at this time. Certainly, as we've announced already, in the case of the substitutions, we've already had an agreement with the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners, for instance, that only if the leave is beyond 2 weeks will we make a substitution in the department.
Meantime, the acting chief executive officer at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Louise Bob, has acknowledged that the hospital is facing financial challenges. She said, however, that a process is in place so that none of the patients' health was jeopardized because medication could not be sourced.
If there's a situation where there's a stock on island, not in a hospital but on island, we then escalate it to the Barbados Drug Service, and then they try to source for us the drugs anywhere else, well, within the region and the world.
A plea from the acting general manager of the Barbados Water Authority for action in helping to manage the water and wastewater resources of this island and other regional states. Dr. John Mwanza made the call at the opening of the Caribbean Water and Wastewater Association's exhibition at its 22nd annual conference at the Hilton Hotel. Peter Thorne reports.
The Caribbean Waste and Wastewater Association's 22nd annual conference saw its exhibits being showcased by over 50 companies. These range from desalination systems to heavy-duty pumps, cranes, grease separators, and online payments. Acting General Manager of the Barbados Water Authority, Dr. John Mwanza, says these products and services should be fully utilized to provide cleaner drinking water to all Caribbean countries.
We in the Caribbean recognize the relevance and usefulness of these technologies and the role that they can play in helping us provide sustainable water, wastewater, and solid waste management programs and services.
Dr. Mwanza also praised the quality of the exhibits as well as exhibitors for keeping faith with Barbados.
We are glad that in the spirit of cooperation and action, the exhibitors are here to share the technologies, to share the services that they offer, which will help us learn about the new technologies and help us in moving forward to meet our demands that are imposed on us as guardians in the public interest of the water resources and the environment.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of the Environment, Edson Allen, suggested that partnerships are vital to the success of key projects in the industry.
Partnerships are deemed to be one of the more effective instruments for the implementation of sustainable development programs. Alliances and partnerships at the international level take on added importance as the challenges and opportunities ahead of us become increasingly complex, and this concept is captured with the Millennium Development Goals 8, which speaks to creating a global partnership for development.
The theme of the conference is Global Partnership for Sustainable Development in the Caribbean. Peter Thorne, CBC News.
Thanks, Peter. Claremont Pompey Pilgrim, the man who helped to give Irving Fatman Weeks his first taste of the Calypso arena, says he is saddened by the tragic loss of the entertainer. Fat Man was gunned down in New Orleans yesterday morning. Pompey recalled when he first introduced Fat Man on a Calypso stage 3 decades ago at the then Battleground tent, doing a chant for the song Rockers Festival.
That was way back in 1983. I remember I wrote the song and I told Gabby that I wanted to find someone that would do the chanting in the song for me. And at that time, Gabby was living in President Kennedy Drive, and Fat Man was living about 2 houses away from Gabby. And Gabby is who introduced me to Fat Man. But really and truly, I had Fat Man hidden for about 4 shows. And all the people used to hear when they come into the Calypso tent was the chanting. And then one night, I brought him on the stage with me, and it was pandemonium in place. Fantastic chanter, song went down beautifully, and from then, every whole season, the song went on like a bomb.
Police have identified the body of the man who was found with multiple stab wounds in Bridgetown over the weekend. Lawmen say it is that of 54-year-old Ronald Rupert Jones of Speightstown in St. Peter. Police say Jones's body was discovered around 1:30 on Saturday morning by a passerby along James Street in the city. He was reportedly clad in a white vest and long pants. Police investigations are continuing. A local gospel artist is now on bail after appearing in court today on 2 charges involving a child. Police say 37-year-old Corrine Clark of Grisette's housing area appeared in the District A Magistrates Court charged with assault and occasioning actual bodily harm to the child. Lawmen say Clark was granted bail to the tune of $5,000 with 1 surety and is expected to return to the District A Magistrates Court on January 23rd next year to answer the charge. A Barbadian woman is tonight facing drug charges in St. Lucia after allegedly being caught with illegal drugs before attempting to board a Liat flight to Barbados. The incident occurred on Sunday after cannabis was reportedly discovered in her suitcase at the George F.L. Charles Airport, Vigie, Castries. The 24-year-old is now in custody, facing charges of possession of a controlled drug and possession with the intent to supply. According to police reports, during a routine search of the woman's luggage, customs personnel observed suspicious-looking packages concealed in a false compartment. A closer examination of the packages was done, and plant material suspected to be cannabis was found. The woman's name will be released when she has been charged. Barbados has fallen short recently in its reporting to the International Labour Organization. But Labour Minister Dr. Esther Bayers-Suku says there are plans to correct this trend. She says while the Labour Ministry is responsible for reporting to the ILO, it depends on other agencies and departments which specialize in the area in question to provide those answers. And according to her, this is one of the reasons for the delay.
Many of the questions and issues cut across ministries, departments, and agencies. And we have therefore invited participants from those ministries, departments, and agencies who are the specialists and the competent authorities here to this workshop, since we feel the need to sensitize persons regarding Barbados's national duties, or as we were told, our constitutional obligation with respect to our reporting to the ILO.
Dr. Bayers-Suku was speaking at a workshop designed to sensitize the Labour Ministry's partners about the importance of reporting to the ILO in a timely manner. She says in most cases, Barbados has implemented the standards set by the ILO, but reporting has been the issue.
Currently, there are several questions for Barbados posed by the Committee of Experts on the Application of Conventions and Recommendations. The answers, as I've looked at the questions, the answers aren't difficult. And in fact, our responses would be quite positive and would improve our image. We have just been tardy in responding. And though we have this year been redoubling our efforts and we've submitted 11 reports, we still have some 13 reports overdue.
A prominent lawyer believes the recent ruling in the historic Shanique Myrie case might have been a victory for a Caribbean nationalism. However, he believes it will spell trouble for Barbados as a sovereign state. Attorney-at-law Gyson Mears says the ruling contradicts the immigration laws of Barbados and puts the whole legislative system in a tailspin.
One of the things that the ruling has done is to probably throw into flux our immigration laws. All of our laws now that our immigration authorities thought that they had the final word on who came into Barbados and on the what conditions. The court has said you will now interpret these in light of community law, and if they do not bear that kind of interpretation, scrap them. So we may now have to go and look again at the provisions of our law that may have allowed us to operate.
Attorney at law Verla de Pisa says the term of being a sovereign nation has now taken on a different definition. She says it could also have implications for the signing of treaties in the future.
Moving forward, there will be less and less treaties signed, because that too is an element of the loss of sovereignty, where not only are our borders, I don't want to say under threat, but our borders are no longer under our control. And now, as a step further, that our legislation, our laws, our domestic governance is no longer under our control.